What do you say? How do you say? I'm just blessed to see another day. I go by the name of Terror the Barber, and this is Razor Sharp Podcast. Today, we have an amazing barber that's going to blaze the lens to inform you guys exactly who she is and what she do and why she does it. We have blessing us today the Dame Barber in the building. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So to get us started, I want the listeners out there to know who you are. So who is the Dame Barber?
My name is Alyssa. I am the Dame Barber. I have been practicing since 2005. So I've been around for a long time. And I've held every position inside of a shop, from pushing broom as a receptionist to leading other leaders. And I just continue to pursue knowledge. And I'm at a point now where I just want to start sharing what I've learned, because I've met so many young people who have come into the industry, and there's so much that they want to know, and I'm here to share it. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
That's amazing. So what is a Dame Barber?
So the Dame, when I recently went out to become my own small business, the Dame was a way that I promoted myself. So a Dame is like a female version of a knight. And a knight is somebody who receives that honor, is somebody who's done a lot for their community or has accomplished a lot in their field. And so when I went on to become my own small business, that was my way of promoting myself and giving myself the title of Dame. But it could also be, that old-fashioned term, because I am fond of vintage barbering. Dame just means woman, so I'm a woman barber.
Okay. And what got you into the barber industry?
Well, I grew up inside of a shop. My mom cuts hair. She was working inside of a unisex shop, so I just grew up around it. This
Mm-hmm.
is what I know, and I always really connected with it. I liked the vibe inside the shops. It's a very feel-good type of work, so I gravitated towards it. And I think I got my license right out of high school, so I did a vocational program, and I was able to start working right away. I mean, I feel like some people just know what they want right out of the gate. I'm one of them, and that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
still with it. I feel really good about it. Um, and I think I started out doing men and women's hair. I was working in like corporate shops, like chain salons and stuff. So I was doing men and women's hair, but I really gravitated towards men. And then after some years passed, I decided just to go all in on barbering. And then I really wanted to learn straight razor shaving. I think that's what makes barbers who they are. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as because I know that you specialize in straight razor shaving, what did you get a lot of that training was when you was in barber school?
no, unfortunately not the case. And I've talked to a lot of people about their school experiences. The most education I got inside the school was shaving a balloon,
Mm-hmm.
which helps you practice the hand positions, but there's nothing like shaving actual hair and manipulating the skin, and everyone's face feels different. I didn't really do that until I was inside my shop. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was in barber school, because I got my cosmetology license first, I got my barber's license later. When I was working inside that barber shop, the shop owner, who's my colleague, is a good friend of mine, she's the one
Mm-hmm.
who taught me more about shaving. So I learned inside the shop.
Okay, and how was your barber school experience?
Probably like a lot of people's experience, it's very challenging. You have to be a self-starter to get through it.
Uh-huh.
um, maybe I didn't feel supported all the time, but I'm a go-getter. I am, like, when I make my mind up on something, I'm driven and I do it. I'm laser focused. Um, but I think if you have one of those schools that really helps you and participates a lot, that's great. But I've been to barber and cosmetology school 3 different times. So cosmetology, my instructor's license, and then my barbering license. And all 3 experiences were pretty similar. I did meet
Really?
some amazing people, but the learning portion it's challenging.
Wow. I mean, I hear those things all the time. Those stories about barber school. Some people have good experiences, some people have bad experiences. Some people just feel like they leave them out of there not as informed as they thought they would be to be prepared to be in the workforce. But I tell students, it's you're going to get that real life experience once you leave the barber school and you get into the shop. I just wish that a lot of schools didn't just focus on you passing the written and the practical, but really give you your reps when it comes to cutting clients, teaching you customer service, and really getting you prepared to leave the school and get straight into the workforce and be able to do and do some phenomenal work. And that's not the case.
No, it's not. School, and I think that's why some people might be deterred from getting their license, because first it's really expensive and you don't hear a lot of people having good experiences. But school is really a formality, and it's not something that helps you behind the chair. It helps you get your license, and so we just have to take it at that. It's when I went back to become an instructor, I had that attitude where I was like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to change the place. But that was a really tough environment. So, that's why I'm pursuing education as an individual, just doing it freelance, because
Okay.
I still want to help people learn. But yeah, school's a tough one. I still
Hmm.
believe in getting licensed, so I'm a big advocate for being legit.
Yep. Yep. So as being a woman in a male dominated industry, what has been your journey?
Oh, well, you know what? Let me clarify that in the barber portion of my career has been somewhat recent, probably within the last like 3 years that I've really been immersed in barbering primarily. Most shops I've worked at, there are a lot of women, um, but I never minded it. Now that I'm like fully immersed in it, I honestly say my experiences have been positive. I think it's very much to my advantage that I am different.
Okay. And as far as that, are there some women barbers that you follow on social media that get you inspired?
um, yes, yes, I see women all the time. Very inspirational. I'm
Okay.
glad that they're putting themselves out there, but I don't see a lot of female educators in the barber industry that are like dominating. And it's understandable because it is kind of like a man's world, but it doesn't deter me. And I love every time that a woman shows up in front of everybody and has something valuable to share, because it really does for the women who are minorities in an industry like this. It's very nice to see someone that's relatable.
That's great. And how about hair shows? Do you attend a lot of those?
I have been to hair shows. I really like small community events too. So when local shops in my area have a showcase or there's educational classes where we go and visit each other's shops, I would probably say I do that more often. The big
Mm.
shows are nice, but um, I like connecting in those small groups, I think. There's a lot going on at the shows that's very stimulating, exciting, but I don't do them as often as the community
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. So what are some barber shows that like big barber shows that you've been to?
So in the Chicagoland area, that's where I am. The big one that comes around here is America's Beauty Show. I've never
Okay.
traveled out of the state to go to any others, but I know that Texas has one, Connecticut has one. So I do see people posting about there's time spent there, haven't been there. And then
Mhm.
for barbers specifically, we have the Midwest Trade Show. So I have done that a couple times.
Okay, because I definitely believe that you would bring a breath of fresh air to all of those events because there's nothing of the sort of the art of shaving being really promoted at any of those big barber shows. Even the big brands that come out that do make products for shaving. There, it used to be. I remember back in like probably 2016 when I used to go to BarberCon. There would be other brands that would come out and have barbers that would actually do shaving, but not like what you do. That is an art. That is a tradition that has been lost. So what got you into focusing on the cutthroat straight razor?
Okay, so my colleague I told you about earlier, when I was working in her shop, she loves vintage barbering, historical barbering, and her and I went on a trip together to London 2 years ago, October, and we took a shaving course there that she had heard about. And I'm just like, yeah, I've never left the country before, but let's go check it out. So we went on this trip together, and we stopped in all the different local barbershops we came across. We networked with all kinds of people, just asking what the culture was like overseas. And the last shop we stopped in, my colleague was saying she was interested in learning how to shave with the traditional razor, one that you have to sharpen yourself. And the fellows were like, we have a barber who does that. He actually teaches it. You should come back and meet him. So we did. And he's like, okay, I'll show you. I'll demo the shave for you. And then we watched him. It was the most elegant face shave I have ever seen. I was just like, we stood there like, it's magic. It's so amazing. So he's a Sicilian barber, and he is an educator or a maestro barber with the Scapicchio Academy. And they're an academy in rural Italy, like on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. And he told us about the academy there, and we were so enthralled with what he showed us that we were like, we're going to Italy now. So we did, and 7 months later, we were on a plane to Italy, to this village. It took 2 airplanes. It took an hour plus train ride and then a 40-minute bus to the top of this mountain into this little village. And we learned inside of their barbershop, and they taught us. It was just like going back in time. They taught us how to sharpen the razors. They taught us the shave procedure, and it was the best shave I have ever learned. Like, no movement is wasted. It's done with so much poise and grace and respect to the client. I was just like, there's nothing like this. Where is it? Like, the whole point of being a barber is to shave people. It's the one unique skill that we have. So I was immediately like, I'm going all in on this. This is fantastic.
I mean, it shows. You know, I've consumed a great deal of your work online, and it just gives me that breath of fresh air to just see how much love you show in just the preparation of to do the shave. You know, and I think that's been lost. You know, with the machines being created to clippers and trimmers, that now everybody just try to use those things to be the main instruments when it comes to servicing, but they forget about what we had before it was any of those things. All we had was a comb, pair of shears, and we had the razor. And those things are something that I believe need to come back. It needs to be stressed more that we have to really focus on the tradition of barbering, because that's being lost. Do you think that the safety razor was one of the factors that put a hindrance on barbering?
100%. Think about it in the old times, like 1800s, okay? Either you spent time, like as a regular Joe, you spent time learning how to sharpen your razor and shave your own face, which are 2 separate skills. You could go to the barber and they just do it for you. The razor's already sharp. All you have to do is show up and sit there. So it was great. You know, barbers are really, good at doing this, and it saved the average Joe lots of time. But as soon as the safety razor came along, he could go in the shower and shave blind and never nick himself. So when it became a convenience factor, and convenience has driven all the changes in the world, like some of those big changes, the ritual of a man's shave and maybe even that part of visiting a barber shop just became less common.
Absolutely. You know, there's a story on Gillette, who was one of the pioneers of the safety razor from what I've just, and it's funny how hundreds of years later his products are still on all the shelves, and but we don't have a product. There's no Gillette barber product line. It's only for the consumer. I've been a part of a couple Gillette campaigns in the past where they tried to implement their product in the barbershop, but I just felt like people were just a little bit more standoffish when it came to that. But that's one of those family companies that's still around over 100 years later, and they were one of the people that at a time stopped the barber from making a good income, because because of the safety razor.
Yeah, it was a huge shift for barbers. Luckily, not many people are successful at cutting their own hair.
Mm.
So here we're still here. Thank God.
Yep, yep, yep. So, you said that you worked in a few shops. Your experience. How many barber shops have you worked in?
Um, I worked in chain shops for like 15 years,
Okay.
which was the length of my like a big chunk of my career. But that's when I had the most experience. Barber shops, I've only worked inside of one, and then I came to work inside of my own studio. So I haven't
Mm.
worked inside of a lot of like what you would call like mom and pop barber shops or small business shops. Most of
Okay.
my training came from the corporate, which in a way I think was really beneficial to me because as I'm understanding barbershops and small business, there's not as much structure in place as far as people doing, hey, you guys, we need to have a professional image. Here's the guidelines for that. There's not as much structure inside of barbershops. And so as I've been visiting lots of different places and not that I've worked at them, that's where I'm starting to understand how it was different from the world that I existed in. And that's why I'm so passionate and curious about it, and why I feel like there's some value I have to offer for people who are trying to develop their businesses a little bit better as well.
Amazing.
But yeah, I only worked inside of one barbershop, like
Mm.
what you would consider a traditional style.
Okay. Do you mind saying what chain it was that you worked in?
Yeah, I worked at Great Clips.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. And because I know Great Clips are one of those franchises that really specialize in a marketing. You know, they get a lot
Mhm.
of bad backlash when it comes to other barbershops. But if you really into marketing, if you really into structure, if you really into product sales, then we need to take pages out of what Great Clips do and Sport Clips do because they know how to bring in the revenue.
Yeah, they have that kind of researchability. You know, they have focus groups. They bring people in and want to know from the customer's perspective. They're focused on creating a great experience. They do have a bad reputation for their haircuts because
Yeah.
there's such a short window of time and they recruit heavily from schools. So they get a lot of people from schools. But the structure that you can learn from a business like that. Floyd's 99 barbershop is another barbershop I spent time in, but there was only one or two other actually licensed barbers there. So it was a mix of barbers and stylists, cosmetologists. But
Mhm.
they had some structure. It wasn't as rigid as Gray Clips was. They were very, that was the hardest job I've ever had. They were super rigid.
Okay, so you leaving that shop and then going on your own to have your own suite, right?
Mhm.
How would that transition? And how did being in those barbershops help you with your transition?
Oh man, there were takeaways from every shop I've been in and from every position I've had. When I was at Gray Clips, the takeaways from that were learning the foundations of customer service and persuasion, selling products, just as you mentioned. I learned all of my leadership skills there. They were fabulous for education. I mean, I'm formally trained. I went to conventions and all kinds of classes during my time there. So that's where I learned how to become a leader and to do business, looking at business stats, tracking numbers, and seeing where our efforts were making progress and where they weren't. That was my takeaway from there. When I went to Floyd's, that was the first time that I learned about getting to work with a schedule, like a book, like I could go in that day and see what my appointments were, as opposed to Great Clips or similar places where it's just like walk-ins only. So it was a benefit for me to see how you could have a structured schedule and then have more time to make your haircuts like really good. And so that's when I started to polish up on my haircut skills even more.
Mhm.
Then when I went to work at the barbershop with my colleague, she's the one who taught me more pinpointing that barber style and small business. And that's where I learned to become an LLC and learn how to do my own taxes, my own booking, creating my own brand. She really inspired me to create this space that I'm in because I was like, dude, you're doing this shit. you're doing this. This is amazing. I had never seen somebody like me or around my age go for it like that. So she was a huge inspiration for finding out what your vision is and realizing it. So shout out to her. She's amazing. Good American barber.
What's the name?
Good American barber.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
her name
So
is Myra. She's awesome.
I'm gonna definitely follow her. So as far as that, you leaving the shop, did she leave the shop or is she still there?
No, she's still there and thriving. Just at the end of last year, her shop was recognized as the best barber shop in that town. So I was just so proud of her, and she's really accomplished the goals that she's set out. So
Mm,
continuing to inspire me.
nice. So how did you build your clientele? Because it's very frustrating to leave a barbershop and then go to your own suite. So how did you build your clientele and get ready to go into your suite?
So when I moved from the Floyd's shop to her shop, I had a lot of loyal clients at that time who were in contact with me. So some of them followed me, but not all of them because I was a little further away. Um, it was very good that her shop is right on a main street where lots of people walk, where there's tons of events in the downtown. So the foot traffic there was excellent. And it did take me time to build up my clientele again, but because I'm so client focused and creating the experience with people, once they get a taste of like, wow, someone actually listened to me. I never knew that about my hair. Or when people were getting that kind of service, it was a no-brainer that they wanted to come back and see me again. So I relied heavily on the experience I created. So that way each new person I met was like, I don't need to look anymore. And so that's my tactic.
Okay. Do you use like social media? Do you use Google Ads, or is it really just word of mouth?
I encourage all of my clients to, if okay, here's what I think. When people are feeling really good, it's easy to make them promise something. So as soon as I take that hot towel off after their shave and they sit upright and they're just like, wow, that was awesome. I'm like, spread the word. If you know anyone who would like this, please send them in. So I've gotten tons of clients when they're in that feel good moment. That's when I ask them to refer me. And so I've
Yeah.
gotten lots of people like that. Luckily, where I am in my studio, I have a big front-facing window, and there's lots of foot traffic here too. So, I mean, location is a huge part of it. Do I use social media for clients? No, my social media is mostly for my peers and potential learners. So I use Booksy for my booking, and they have a feature that I've experimented with just to see how it went, where you can do like a Booksy
Boost the boost.
boost. Yes, thank you. And they recommend you people. And I did that for like 2 weeks to see what would happen, and it sent me new customers. So if I ever felt like I needed more people, I would turn that on. That worked great. But I
Yeah.
don't honestly, I don't need it right now.
That's great. I mean, I've been using Booksy now for over 10 years, and from time to time, I'll put the boost on when I feel like I have more space to welcome in new clients. So that's definitely something that a lot of people out there need to utilize is if they are using a booking app to go through the booking app and really have understanding of what those booking apps offer, so that they can bring more clientele in. You know.
I do
Very
have
cool.
something to add, like a recommendation, because I have so many barbering acquaintances who are posting their work all the time. What I think would help them when they're trying to use social media to market their haircuts is that they need to show up too. I can tell one haircut from this person's haircut from that person. I want to connect that haircut or that service to a person because we connect with people. So I think if I was trying to advertise my services online, I would recommend that barbers show their face with their work and give clients someone to connect that work to. Unless it's a
Right.
really obvious, like every person gets green hair from this guy. When we see the green hair, we know it's him, but sometimes we can't tell whose fate is whose. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
something I
you're
would
right.
throw out
You're
there.
right. cause I look at a lot of people pages and you a lot of times the trend is the before and after, and but you don't see the progress, you know, the different steps of it, and then you can't relate to the personality of the person that's doing the service, because again then they're not showing themselves. So it's just like a haircut. Here's my work. Book me because it looks good. But people don't just book you because of the haircut. They book you because of what they feel like they're going to get as an overall experience.
Agreed. Well said.
Yep. So as far as that, I seen that you went from uh a suite that's in the space that you at to a bigger space, right? And I commend you with that, because the suite that I'm at, I picked this suite for a few reasons, and then there was a premium space that opened up that's in the front of my building that had a big window, and I was like, do I really want to get that room and pay the double rent? And I was like, that would be a good move, but I was like, I just want to stay in the space that I'm in. What made you say, you know what, I'm ready to go from this room to this next big size room?
I'm so glad you asked that because it was a really tough consideration for me. And coming into a studio for the first time, I didn't know what the workflow was going to be like. So I host a lot of dads and they bring their sons. So if I'm in this little room and suddenly I have dad, haircut and beard, two boys, each a haircut, that's 2 hours. And we're 2 hours in this little room. And dad's trying to peace out under a hot towel, and the kids are like, are you done yet? And they have nowhere to walk. And I'm just like, I can do this, but I plan on doing this for years still. So this room that I'm in now is empty for like 6 or 8 weeks. And I kept looking at it. And after the back to school rush, when I'm the busiest, like most barbers shops probably are, that's when I reached out and inquired about it. And when I found out what the new rent was going to be, I was like, oh my God, okay, what will I have to do to make this work? And so I made a small increase to my haircut prices to improve the experience for my clients, and I've had zero issues. In fact, people have just been enjoying this space so much to come in and crack open a soda, charge their phone, read a book. And the extra window space, I've had people now that they can see me better, walk in from the sidewalk and come grab one of my cards or see if I can do a walk-in. So it was fun. Absolutely. I didn't per se get a raise because I raised my prices. That slight raise in prices paid for the difference in the rent.
Right.
So I'm making the same, but the comfort of the everyday ability to move around, happy with that.
Well, I commend you for that, because there's a lot of people. You know, I have a stylist that's in the same salon suite building as me, and she was my next door neighbor. And you know, she went from the 100 square feet that we have to being the double suite, which is the only double suite in this building. And she's also a life coach and a podcaster. And she, you
Ah,
know, again, she was afraid to step up to have that double rent now, but she took it upon herself to step out on faith, and now she has a space where she has more space for her clients to be able to zen down. She could do her life coaching when she needs to. She can do a podcasting when she needs to, and it's her own office that she can do whatever she wants. And she said that she feels so much free. There's so much more space for her to just move around, and it just made her creative juices just overflow even more, because now she has more space. So when I saw you do that, she's the first person that came to mind. I said, you know, there's people that's in my sight that I see that's elevating in every step, and it's just amazing to see that. So we commend you for taking a step out and doing that, to just say that, you know what, I need more, I deserve more, and you showing that on social media and just showing other people just like myself that can say to themselves that they deserve more also.
oh, thank you. And shout out to her. I think I saw you on a podcast with her. Or you
Uh-huh.
interviewed. She has a blonde hair.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So shout out to her because all of those things you just said is exactly what happened here. Like having your own office space, I can host people and train people here. I can have this conversation with you. I can come and do content in here, tutorials. It is like more beneficial than having just more space. There's more opportunity. So I'm happy for her. I'm
Yes.
glad she took the leap too. Cool.
Absolutely. So what gratification do you get out of being an educator now? You know, because you see that there's things that's missing in the industry, the things that you didn't get when you was going to school, and you saying, you know, that you feel that there's a void that needs to be filled. So how what do you get out of it?
Man, the it's just like you said, it's that support that, I wish that I had, or the education that I wish I had. And some of the structure that I think is missing for barbers, I want to be that go-to person to provide that. And it's totally intrinsically satisfying for me to see that someone else is like, oh, great idea, let me try it out. And that they're getting the spark or the inspiration to keep building on what they already know and what they want to improve. It's a type of gratification. Like when we finish the haircut right away, we're just the client. You can see they feel better, they look better. Almost every client goes, ah, like after the haircut. And when you share knowledge with somebody and you can see them light up and that excitement in their eyes, I get that same feeling that I did something good. I passed on something good. So that's
Mhm.
why I'm doing it.
Okay, well,
I'm selfish. I'm doing it for me.
well, I mean, but those are all the right reasons to do it because one, if you don't get some kind of gratification, some kind of love out of it, then it's not going to show in your work, right? And I see that. I see that when you're educated, one, you have done all the research that you believe you need, and you're still looking for and you're seeking out more information so that you can inform others. But I see the comments that's on your page, even when you go live and people ask questions and you're very knowledgeable to answer these questions to give them a better perspective and a better understanding. And a lot of times you'll hear people go live and talk about things that they don't know exactly what they're talking about. You know a
Oh.
little bit, but you know a lot of the things that you love, and it resonates through your content, and it's needed. You know, what got you into making sure that you are prepared with all of the steps when it comes to your shaving?
Ah. Wait, so ask me that again. What?
What what got you to be prepared for the steps that you do when it comes to your shaving? Because I remember you stating that there's so many steps. There's 14 stroke steps, right? But
Oh.
you say that even though there's 14 strokes, you don't use all those strokes, right?
Mm. So the one from the Barber book is
Yeah.
totally different than the one I learned in Italy.
Hmm.
The one I learned in Italy is much better and far more comfortable to perform behind the chair. So, um, how did I prepare? Well, after I took that course in Italy, I was recording videos, and I'm a research junkie. I looked through everything I could find, everybody who was doing this shave in different countries as well, and I recorded it. I made notes. I watched the shave and drew a diagram and labeled all the hand positions and where you stand when you do it. And then I would practice it, and I recruited clients to continue practicing it until I had it memorized. One of the things that's still challenging is mixing the soap right on the face, but as far as the shaving strokes, I watched and watched and watched. I drew it, I closed my eyes, and I was still practicing it with my eyes closed, imagining it. So,
That's amazing. I mean, I when I first got into barbering and I really wanted to like go head on with this, and this is around 2009. A lot of footage that I would watch on YouTube was a lot of barbers overseas, and there's another barber by the name of the Nomad Barber that would travel the world. And this is early on YouTube, and I used to watch all of his content because being somebody that was traveling the world, I was getting a better understanding of what barbering was in different places and the different procedures that these barbers was doing. And some had little to nothing, but they made a way for themselves. And I love to see the true steps of the hot towel shave. You know, the getting the lather right. You know, the preparation of the skin, and a lot of those things is lost. So to see that you say the same things about me, like I do say, and when it comes to me doing a lot of research on the different steps, the different ways of doing things, and really perfecting my craft. You know, a lot of barbers nowadays are not doing that. You know, I tell barbers all the time, you need to take pictures of your work. You know, film yourself working, because at the end of the day, when you put those instruments in your hand to perform a service, is a production. And that's the way that I look at it. Like every time I drink my client and I'm doing my fade and I'm doing my lineup, every clipper or guard or comb that I pick up, there's a reason why I'm picking it up and when I'm picking it up, and I feel like I can show that production very well. And I like to go to barbershops and see them perform, and a lot of time I don't see that, the movement and the love and the flow and them being on beat. So the fact that you say that you took your time to do your research, like there's a video that you put out where you was speaking about the positioning that the barber should be in when they doing the razor, and that there was some that you saw that was staying only in one space and would control would control the client by moving their head where they wanted them to be. And a lot of times the barber nowadays is letting the client conduct the way that things are supposed to go. So you have to be able to be the maestro as to when it comes to providing the service, you know?
100%. It's a dance. It's a dance. And when people can feel your confidence and control, they can sit and relax and enjoy the service. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. And
Mm-hmm.
clients for sure know the difference, because if I've had somebody new in my chair, I've heard more than one person say, I can tell by the way you're combing my hair, you're good. Just, they can feel the finesse, they can feel the confidence, the
Mm-hmm.
ease, the fluidity, and that helps put them at ease. It's important, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that comes with time. It comes with practicing with intention and consistency, like being deliberate. Like, I'm gonna work on my sectioning, and I'm gonna do it until it feels comfortable, and I don't think about it anymore. But it
Mm.
takes time to get that flow state and that comfort and that pleasure. It takes time.
And it's good you say that, because I believe like after barber school, you know, and then you get into a barber shop, and then you start, you know, the hustle and bustle of every day trying to make a buck. A lot of things get lost, and then when you're around other barbers, you tend to learn the bad habits of the people that's around you. You can get the good and the bad, you know. But there's a lot of times where there's a lot of things that's lost in translation. That I believe that a lot of barbers need to continue to go to continuing education classes to always get a refresher of the things that we may lose or forget. Like me being in a suite, you know, you can get very complacent by being in a suite, by having these four walls and not going out. You know, me, I go to different barbershops almost once a week to just sit down and kick the breeze and just watch them. And anytime there's a look and learn class, I'm always one of the first people to sign up so that I could be there just to see. Like I was at a look and learn class on Sunday. And the barber there is a celebrity barber by the name of Yusef the Barber, and his his hairline method was something that I've done for years, but I tend to move away from it to do other ways. And once he gave me a refresher on the way that he does it, I came back to the barber shop that same day and did the same exact steps that he did. And when I say every single haircut that day and that day on was just flawless, it was perfect to a T. And I said, this is what's needed a lot of times, is that we need to be able to keep the conversations going, keep the knowledge going, and keep it growing. Because if you don't grow, then you die. And I see a lot of barbers that get complacent and they fall off with they blend, with the execution, with the overall look, with the customer service, just by a lot of barbers just go to these suites, or they go to a barber shop and they just go in and they leave. And I believe that we need more of that. These kind of conversations, and people that's so passionate like yourself are people that's going to keep the fire burning.
Yes, you're so right. Without new information, you become complacent and you
Hmm.
don't care. People aren't getting the service that they deserve because they're paying for it,
Hmm.
and then you just lose joy. But I can say, having a long career, and it sounds like you have as well, there is like ebbs and flows. So that moment where you're getting comfortable and kind of restless and not interested, that is your sign to go out and new environment, new people, stimulate yourself. I mean, at one point I wanted to leave the industry, but once I started to change my environment, change the people, change the information, I got sucked back into it. And I do agree with you. Like, that's why, even though I work in a studio, I'm such a social gal. I go out to community events and I go and visit barbershops and I participate because I still like to do that. And it's so important for me to stay connected to everybody, and I just enjoy it. So
Me
it's huge.
too. Like me, I go around to my suite mates almost every day. From the time I get in here and I walk around and I say hi to everybody. To even when I get a quick second of the breaks in between, I'll go and just say, how's your day going? And I'm thinking things of that nature. Because when I was in a barbershop, I've always been the type to control the atmosphere from the music to the vibe, and I don't know no other way but to keep the pace going and the vibe up, so that even when I'm in this space, I love what I can do in my room. I love the conversations. We can close the door. We can put on whatever they want to watch or what they want to listen to, and that's their time. And then once we open that door, it's just like that's what they need. So it's just me moving around, me being a social butterfly, if I may say. I do a lot of hair shows. I do a lot of barber events. We have something called Phase and Fellowship here down here in Georgia, where we come together every third Monday to do a barber mixer. And I was able to create this with some like-minded barbers that's very influential in the barber industry, especially for Georgia. And I believe that that's needed in every state, to have a community of barbers that come together, because there's so many barbershops and there's so many salon suites and so many professionals, but we tend to be separate, unless we go to a hair show. But there's a whole bunch of things that we could do in the community, from feeding people to giving free haircuts and just informing people of proper hygiene. And it's us, the type of people that can create that.
You are absolutely that type of person. I can tell from the short time speaking with you just how much you love to reach out to people. You're not shy about it. You want to
Mhm.
see what value people offer. It's tremendous. And I know
Thank
some
you.
people they just don't have the courage to do that. And thank goodness you do, because look at, we're here together and I've seen all the excellent work you're doing, even at the shows. So like, I would say I participate more in community events, but you are like high energy, even at the shows when there's all this going on. You're like, I don't care. I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'm gonna talk to this guy, and you're hitting everybody up, and you're just, I love it. It's very awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So around this time of the show, I have something called barber questions. It's gonna be 5 rapid questions, and I just want to get your perspective on it. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So the first question is, what are your top 5 clipper companies?
Top five. That's so funny because I only use one.
I know you only use one. That's why I asked that question.
Okay, so Wall is my number one. I have
Mhm.
used that from the start and I have continued to use that. I've tried Oster a couple times. I had a Babyliss trimmer for a little bit, but I always go back to Wall. I have been really curious about trying the Babyliss with the battery, the rechargeable
Mhm.
battery, because
Yeah.
that, when I was at a Look and Learn recently, they had a whole wall of these and you could kind of test them out and feel them all. That one felt similar to the wall that I use. It's very ergonomic. It's not too long. But I'm really stuck in my ways about that. I'll tell you what.
I get that. I get that. So Babylon started making shorter ones. Like, so you speaking about these. Babblers are making the ones that's a little bit shorter for people that don't have bigger hands. Like me, I don't have large size hands, but this one is good. But there's they have it a little bit shorter, and it's supposed to be a little bit lighter. So that's pretty cool too.
Here's what I liked about that. I loved the precision movement of the blade opening and closing.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is something I just don't have. So
Yes.
I have to work a little more finesse. But I mean, wow, that was like
So you
so
use
cool.
these, right? You got
I'll show you.
you got magic clips, no?
I have the seniors.
Seniors. Okay.
Please, these.
Seniors, yeah. Those, I mean, so the seniors are top. Those are top tier. They will be considered almost the same as the Magic Clips as far as the blade go, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a stronger motor. I think it's a 9,000 V motor compared to I think a 7,000 or 8,000 V motor. Yeah, but the seniors is always clutch, always
You know
clutch.
what? I love that the metal casing. I love that heavy feel in my hand. And this
Mhm.
has been a clipper that I've bought corded and cordless. That it's my workhorse. It's my favorite. I put a fade blade on it so that when I'm doing detail work, I'm getting,
Mhm.
I'm getting the detail work I need. But I can. I'm a minimalist when it comes to my tools, and I've been to barber shops where I just see like this tool chest
You don't
and
want to see
tools
this.
and tools and tools. And I think this is a very masculine habit to collect. Well, this one has ceramic blades. This one has this feature that has. I'm like, it's too many. I'm like, I just need it to cut. I need it to be like strong, high power, and then I'm happy with that. So,
Yep. Yep. The second question I got for you is being licensed important and why?
okay, absolutely, it's important. Um, I just don't. My integrity is too strong. I feel like I wouldn't be fully relaxed at work if I wasn't legit. School's a formality, I know, but that feeling of knowing that you did the right thing is valuable enough to me. And also, it's interesting for barbers in particular because you can go into mom and pop shops and they may not require you to have one. But if you want to go into corporate shops and you want to learn structure and business, they won't hire you unless you have it. So I think when you don't have your license, you're somewhat limited in places you can go and things you can try. And when you become a small business, you should have all the credentials that you need. I can't imagine going and doing all that without my license. So it gives you opportunities.
Okay. The third question I got for you is does having an online presence convert into new clients?
So my clients would be other barbers and hair professionals,
Mhm.
and yes, it can because it does. Having an online presence gets you a broader um, range, right? So when I'm working here in my community, I'm knowing people at this shop and that shop, which is really good. But as soon as I started putting more information online, suddenly here's messages from Washington, here's messages from New Jersey, from California, from Florida, from you. If I hadn't shown up online, I wouldn't be here with you. So, as far as clients and just opportunities in general, yes. Yes, it's so important. And why wouldn't you use a platform to benefit your business?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do it.
The fourth question I got for you is what it was. I just drew a blank from what you said. Where do you see the barber industry in 5 years?
In 5 years. Ah, you know what? I could tell you what I'd like to see. I'd
Mhm.
like to see more barbers doing face shaves. I'd like to see more women showing up in educator roles as well because I know a lot of women have been at it for a long time. And I want to see them being headlined some places as well, more of them.
Mhm.
Those are things that I'd like to see. It'd be great if the schools would do a little bit more to prepare barbers technically and professionally behind the chair, but this is more of a wish list. What do I think will actually happen? That's a good question. I haven't thought about that in particular,
Mhm.
but I
Okay.
do think it's been more exciting than ever. I mean, I love how much there is to consume now as far as barber content and the amount of people to connect with. I think is fabulous. So, I mean, that I think that'll just continue.
Okay. And my fifth question for barber questions is, what kind of barber are you?
Ah, I am a barber who values excellence. I am a vintage style barber. Some people call me, you could call me an old head because I've been around for a long time. Um, it, that's how I describe myself: excellence, vintage, old.
Okay, okay. So we spoke about a whole bunch of things, right? But what's next for you, and what would you like to leave the audience with?
So I have been formulating, I'm working on long form video. So what's next for me is I'm putting a lot of energy into creating YouTube content for people so that, I mean, it's Instagram is great because people are becoming aware of me, but I really want to start giving information people can sink into and go more in depth. So my big project for this year is to work on long form content and yeah, just keep giving back to the barber community in that way and continue my local, all my local training and community events. Those are my goals for 2026.
Okay. And I definitely see that you started the YouTube channel. So you got my subscription, and I'm definitely going to be locked in with all of the content that you provide because it's very informative. Me, I like to just watch and take my notes, and I've learned great things already just by watching your videos. Like the one thing I seen was that when you drape the client for the shave and you put the towel around their neck. You use a neck clip, a hair clip, which I'm
Uh-huh.
like, that's one thing that I need to do to keep that area tight. And it's not like I have something that looks a little bit more professional. I want something that looks perfect. But I say, I got them here. So it's just those small things that we take advantage of, but we see it and we say, aha, that is something that I didn't think about doing. But
Mm-hmm.
I've learned already from the couple weeks of me watching you just on social media a great deal that I know my clients are going to appreciate every step of the way. So I thank you for all of that you're doing for the industry. Are you open to being invited to these different hair shows? Like the CT Barber Expo or BarberCon or being one of these brand ambassadors for some of these big shaving companies.
How cool would that be? I have a list of brands that I'd like to work with, and trust me, when I'm not cutting hair, I am in my lab formulating plans. I have lists of things that I want to do. I mean, I just told you a little bit of it, but
Uh
that would
huh.
be excellent. Do you guys do that in, are you around Atlanta?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Okay. I want to go to Atlanta. Not if they have a barber show there, I would like to go. But there's also a roller rink there. I want to go to Sparkles in Smyrna. I want to go to that roller rink so bad.
So what's stopping you?
Uh, well, okay, I went really hard in my career for a long time, so my personal goals got a little delayed, but it's still on my list.
Okay, okay. Well, 2026, I believe, is the year of doing you, right? Me and my wife just had a great conversation about before the end of the fourth quarter of the things that we've been neglecting for the past 5 years since we moved to Georgia. And we said, Jay, the first week, the first month of January, the first couple weeks of January, we're gonna do it. And yesterday we got on the airplane, went to New Orleans for the day, had a great time, got on the ferry, took a bike ride and got some informing information about the great place. And I said, this is something that everybody needs to start doing. Is we only have one life, and a lot of time work consumes us. We're making everybody else happy except for making ourselves happy. So I'm telling you, 2026, you're gonna be in Georgia. You let me know when you coming. And I'll go to the skating rink with you because I get down backwards. Nobody can touch me when it comes to backwards skating. So I don't have a
Okay,
problem coming to
okay.
Smyrna, and we have a great time. And lunch will be on me. You
Oh,
know?
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. I would love it.
So
And
if
I'm
you want to set
excited
it up,
for
yep.
your goals this year too. I heard you're wanting to get published some more and you're wanting to get up on stage. So I'm going to be watching out for you too, Tara.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, because it's coming. I will be in Barber Evo magazine this year, 2026. That is my main publication goal, is to be in Barber Evo magazine for all of the work that Razor Sharp Podcast is doing. And I'm pushing forward. I'm creating a lot of content, having great conversations with people like yourself, and just let people know out there that there's so much more than just being behind the chair. But the time is now because we only get one life. So I thank you on today for taking the time out to informing the people out there, because these live numbers are small, but once I chop up these videos and I put it out there, there's so many people that's going to gravitate to awards what you got going on that didn't know about you. And those major players, the J Majors, are going to see it, the Lee from Barbershop Connect is going to see it, these brands are going to see it, and I guarantee they're going to be knocking down the door because you are amazing. So, is there anything that you want to leave with the people before we close out?
Oh man, so what I love to say to anybody is whenever you receive new information, don't just hold on to it, actually apply it. Please set your intentions, pick one or two things every week and just focus on it until it becomes effortless. Then move on to the next one, keep building on it. Don't just learn, apply.
So listen, man, this your boy Terror the Barber, Razor Sharp Podcast. We do this every single Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing amazing guests on here to inform you of who they are, what they got going on, and what they do. Well, once you got to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. We thank the Dame Barber for blazing the lens on today. So we salute you, Barber salute, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Peace out.
Barbers, we back at it with another phase of fellowship.
A phase of fellowship.
We got my dog Tony Banks. We got Radio Shop Podcast with the owner, the iconic E. We got Ray, my supply guy.
Energy, energy, energy.